Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is just some cucumber, tuna and sriracha on top. I like to have this as a snack. And before I get into everything, this video is just going to comprise of me making meals with things that I have at home. Every now and then I'll buy a few fresh bits and pieces to go with it. So here I've just pulled out some frozen pork mince from the freezer, some frozen green beans, and as you guys can see here, this is a Asian soup base broth type of thing. You can get that from Coles and Woolies. And here I've just got some random packets of seasoning from like instant noodles. So if I don't use all of the seasoning, I normally toss that in a container in the fridge. So I pulled out two to add to this soup. It's just like a chili powder. And I've also got a carrot here if I haven't gone through that already, and a tiny bit of uncooked rice. So I'm planning to make a rice soup bowl thing. I had it at a Thai restaurant in the city and I'm not sure what it's called, but I thought, hey, let me give this a go, try and do something similar to it. Obviously, I won't be able to replicate it exactly, but I have a rough idea, and it's mainly just throwing bits and pieces together. And it was quite tasty at the shop. So yeah, I thought I'd give this a go. It might not be for everyone though, because not everyone liked rice with soup. But here's the finished product. The Asian soup broth itself wasn't spicy, but because I added in the little instant noodle chili flake seasonings in, it was spicy towards the end, but I love my food spicy anyways. So as you guys can see here, there's quite a few veggies. The pork mince. It would be nicer if you rolled them up into little balls. Obviously, I didn't. I was in a bit of a time crunch, so I kind of just spooned it out. Actually, I didn't even spoon it out. I think I just chucked the whole lump in because it was frozen in the pot, and then I broke it up with my spoon. So here I've got some boneless whole chicken I got on clearance. So it was $10.43 and it was marked down to $6.25. That was from my freezer that I pulled out, and I've got some broccoli here as well. So I actually cooked this chicken in my air fryer. So my air fryer has an option for oven and air fryer, and I think I used air fryer. And then here it is. Just really simple chicken and broccoli. If you're a regular on my channel, you know that I buy things on clearance if it's a good deal, and I just chuck it in the freezer. Next meal, what we have here is some frozen Australian cut green beans and some baby corn spears and another Asian soup base broth. This one is pho as a flavor. And then down the bottom there, I've just got some vermicelli noodles. I think they're rice vermicelli noodles. I'll probably show you guys in the next bit here. You can get them from Coles and Woolies as well. It's probably cheaper at your local Asian grocer. So here's the finished product. I've just got some corn, green beans, some of the rice vermicelli noodles, a little bit of broth down the bottom. I was surprised how much broth the noodles absorbed. And then I also had some frozen pork gyozas in the freezer. So I just heated them up and added it to my noodles as well, because I am trying to use up things from my freezer. Here I've got a tomato fish wrap with some mayo and sriracha sauce. You could easily add more veggies into this, but I think this particular day I just wanted something quick and easy. The fish I don't cook in oil. I just chuck the fish plain in the air fryer. It comes out really crispy and tasty. Here I've got a very simple open sandwich cheese toast. So literally bread, cheese, sliced tomatoes, salt and pepper, and I toss that into my air fryer and it comes out beautifully. You'd be surprised how tasty a really simple cheese tomato sandwich is, and it makes it extra tasty when you put salt and pepper on. Here I've got some Campbell's condensed mushroom soup I would have grabbed from my prepper pantry. I normally get these on sale. I love having them in the pantry. Here I've got some mashed potatoes, and I'm most likely going to just heat up the condensed soup and add it into my gravy. Add it onto my potatoes, and it kind of acts like a gravy. If you make it quite thick, it does kind of have a consistency of a gravy, in my opinion at least. And I love having it with potatoes, either on its own, or you can even have it as a side with roast chicken or steak. Here I'm kind of doing my own version of that TikTok roast tomato feta cheese pasta. I have done a version where you like roast the tomatoes as well in the oven, and it does come out tastier with cherry or grape tomatoes roasted. However, my way is a little bit quicker. It's not exactly the same as a TikTok recipe. This is just my way of doing things when I'm short on time. I did change it up. Instead of using olive oil, I do use duck fat, which I grabbed from the freezer. I find duck fat adds a much more, how do I describe it? It's just more flavoursome than me using olive oil, in my opinion. And yeah, so I just cooked the tomatoes in the duck fat with a bit of salt and pepper. I've tossed it all together here, some feta, and I also topped it up with some chili flakes, and half of the side of the bowl I also did add in sriracha because I feel like there's always enough room for spice in your life. And sriracha has a bit of a tangy flavor, which I like to add to this particular meal as well. And if you guys hear some crunching in the background, that is my dog eating his kibble, so please excuse that crunching noise. In my next clip here, I must have grabbed asparagus on the way home because that was a random purchase. I didn't purchase it with the rest of my groceries. It must have been cheap. And I have some leftover cheese in the fridge. So I normally freeze my cheese when I prep it, but I do leave a little bit in the fridge to use. And there's a bit of leftover here. So what I'm going to do is make a cheesy asparagus to have on the side with my steak. Steak I get from Costco because Costco steak is amazing. And when I do buy it, I vacuum seal it and I put it in the freezer. So on this particular day, I've just pulled one out from the freezer and I've made my cheesy asparagus there on the side. I would have loved to add in some mashed potatoes and mushroom gravy as well. On this day, I just couldn't be bothered making mashed potatoes and I didn't have gravy on hand. Here, I just wanted to show you guys how I like my steak cooked. It was cooked well. It could have been done better, but it was still well in my opinion. In this next clip, I've just chopped up probably one large onion and half a small one and probably about 3 to 4 carrots. And I'm cooking it in water instead of oil. I know most people use oil, but I just prefer to use water instead. And then I add in my beef mince, which I grabbed from the freezer, 2 cans of tomato, and then I just cook it down essentially. I find that the more carrots I put into it, the less sugar I need to add. Sometimes I do need to add in sugar just to balance out the acidity levels from the canned tomatoes. But I find when I put carrots in, I don't need too much sugar and it's a healthier form of sugar, I guess, for me to add to my meal. I also did add in some of the soy protein. You guys would have seen it in my stockpile pantry. So that stretches out the meat a little bit more and you get some extra protein. And it's served on a simple pasta. This pretty much wraps up my video. If you guys enjoyed, please let me know in the comments. I can do more of these meal type videos if you're interested. Just let me know because I'm a little bit confused as to what type of content you guys want to see at the moment. But nonetheless, thanks for watching.